The Olympics.
Heard of it?
I personally think the greatest spectacle in sport. Super Bowl's big, World Cup's big, Premier League's big. A lot of sporting events are big, but I don't think anything's
Cricket World Cup.
bigger than the Olympics. Olympics are great because you get to see sports that don't usually get airtime. How often do you see the javelin when you turn on TV?
It's one of those things as well. I don't care at all about the javelin. But when it's at the Olympics, I'll sit there at 3 a.m. and watch the javelin and cheer on this, Adonis of a human from Mongolia throw a javelin. I'm like, go,
It's
come
pretty
on.
valid though, because it's like they could put any sport in the Olympics. It'd be like, I don't know, 5-meter inverted shotgun, and I'd be like, I'm interested. I don't know what that is, but I'm interested, and I want to see who's getting the gold medal.
I think, it's great for fans, but it's also great for the athletes. How good would it feel to be, I'm the javelin thrower from Mongolia, and now everyone knows my name because I did something really cool at the Olympics?
It's
Or
like the pistol guy.
Yeah, I was just going to say, where's he from though?
Turkey.
Turkey. Yeah. See, we know these things.
Silver medal.
Wonder what he's up to now.
I've seen him in some ads and stuff. I think it wasn't like James Bond or something, but he's in something.
Good for him. Something everyone loves at the Olympics is the underdogs. Stephen Bradbury, Eric the Eel, Eddie the Eagle, the Jamaican bobsled team. Underdog stories are great. But what about a dog that didn't even know it was competing?
Welcome to the wild world of sport, the podcast where three friends sit down, crack a couple beers, and go on a journey to try and find and rank, once and for all, the wildest story in the world of sport. Your three hosts are me, James Whybrow.
James's brother Ben, no relation.
Carlin.
Every episode
like
we
it.
just get to learn more and more about you. I'm going to be the storyteller. We need to come up with a better name, something that's got more pizzazz.
Well,
I guess, like, wild world of sport invokes sort of like the Wild West. So you're the one in the saddle. You're the cowboy.
I'm the sheriff of this
Yeah,
podcast.
the sheriff of the pod. For anyone listening, at Wild World of Sport, let us know what we should call the person that gives the story.
what if it's like the captain? That's like sport themed.
Oh, yeah, the captain.
Coach,
Yeah.
giving the information to the players.
Well, when I did my last one, I had, instead of my laptop, I had a clipboard. And with the headphones on, it's almost like a play caller in the NFL. So I could be the coach, yeah. Well,
There you go.
in the chair, we'll call him Ben today.
Okay, breaking some ground here. Okay. Margaret Ives Abbot, born 15th of June, 1878. We're going back a little bit for today's story.
Not quite as far as the jousting, but it's still pretty far.
It's not a competition of how old the story is,
No, but if it was,
It's not about how big your joust is.
it's about how you use
but
it.
how you use it. It's not how old your story is, it's how you tell it. She was born to Charles Abbott, a wealthy merchant, and Mary Perkins Ives, an author. She was born in Calcutta, formerly British-occupied India. Her father died before Margaret's first birthday, and as a result of that, she moved with her mother back to America, where Charles and Mary were both from, to Boston. And 10 to 15 years later than that, Mary got a job as an editor for the Chicago Times. Margaret was introduced to the sport we'll be talking about today, golf, when she was a teenager in Chicago, when she joined the Chicago Golf Club. Really original name.
Chicago's the windy city.
Yes.
Must be really hard to play golf.
Yeah, I was going to imagine, like, oh, there goes the ball. Or is every course, because is it windy because the wind always passes through in a certain way, or does it swirl in the city? Do you know?
Could not tell you.
Because
It must be really good for mini golf, because you know how they've always got like windmills and stuff?
it'd always be spinning.
Yeah, so it's just a really challenging mini golf city.
Is this golf or mini golf?
You can actually decide that, because later in the story, some distances do come into the story.
Ooh, okay.
So, just some context for the time. In the late 1800s, women aren't allowed to wear pants.
as
at all.
that's, you know,
It's
as it should be.
unseemly. For women, sports at this time aren't competitive. They're only seen as recreational, with a focus on socializing, building your social skills and rapport with other women of your social class. They had no official rules and no competitions were enforced. You're just going out for a bit of fun,
So you just chit chat. There's no rules.
bit of chit chat. There's also only a very limited amount of sport that you're allowed to participate in. Horse riding, showboating,
What?
swimming.
Sorry.
Isn't that-
Rewind.
Isn't that
Is
what
this
you
the
do when
story's
you're
on?
good at a sport?
Yeah.
It's like
Explain.
performative sailing.
How do you
Performative sailing.
What?
Okay, we've got a new story.
Like doing
Can we enter 2 stories today's episode?
sailing very nicely.
Yes, I understand. I wasn't lost on what was happening. It's just the idea is so preposterous, Ben. It's
Not
insane.
preposterous.
Yeah, hey, no. You can't just get off this. How do you sail nicely? Isn't that the whole point of sailing? Sailing badly is crashing and
Like, what are they doing? Are
Sinking
they
the
like
ship.
doing flips off like
No, nothing.
the sail
nothing,
and stuff?
nothing crazy. Well, I will explain further in the reasoning for these sports, but like modern sailing is
They need to bring that
competitive
back.
racing, and you have to then do challenging things, dealing with the wind and changing direction. Showboating is how to look as pristine and nice as possible on the water.
So hang on, it's equestrian for boats.
Sure. Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. But that still insane. They should have that in the Olympics still. What do they not? Like, I just
They have sailing, but I don't think they have what was
look
known
good
as
while doing it.
was showboating. But also, you have to think swimming. They didn't have pools. It was just
No, actually,
go for a dip in the water.
I'm sorry, Ben. I'm really sorry. It's called showboating. We call showboating like someone, you know, who's really showing off now. It must be so good that that's why it's named after it. The name doesn't come because it's mediocre, right? Is it ironic?
I'm not sure the etymology of showboating, or is it entomology? One of them is about bugs, and one's about the history of.
Etymology is the words.
Yes, etymology.
Entomology, I suppose.
If
must be
you
bugs then.
study words, maybe did a bachelor or looking to do a master's in that, and you're offended by how Ben just pronounced it, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, any linguists out there. But I think it could be only the upper class could really afford to just go out and boat for fun and be all pristine. Other people in the lower classes had to make a living and do things.
I feel like there's still sports today that are exclusive for the upper class.
Well, horse riding is
Yeah.
one. A lot of snow sports, especially in
polo.
Australia.
Ice hockey's got a big barrier to entry and cost. Motorsports as well. It's a
Yeah,
lot
that's the one
upfront
I was thinking
capital.
of.
Or even like archery and shooting and stuff. I feel like that's not something you get into if you're poor. Or you could.
So the sports that women were allowed to do were not excessive in the use of physical or mental capacity. And there was a reason for this.
Doing showboating a disservice there.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
You need a lot of mental capacity.
Some of the medical literature at the time is not what it is today. There was a belief that the amount of energy you had to expend was stored in your brain. And women have smaller brains than men. So they thought women have less energy, and if they exercise too much, they'll die.
I'd love hearing these sort of scientific stories about back in the day, because you hear their thinking and you think, well, they were still being scientific, so they still had to prove it in quotations, or come up with write a paper about how. What is the method for saying that energy is stored in the brain?
Pee is stored in the balls. It's a similar...
Well, that's something we've known for eons.
Yeah, it's just, it's proven by scientific method. I know.
Well, Dr. Edward Hammond Clark was writing that women were, and I quote, periodically weakened. His philosophy and hypothesis was that women
You require a certain amount of pee to be stored in your balls to stay strong.
potentially,
This is how
but
it works, right?
his theory was that when women have their periods, it makes them weaker. So if they have exerted themselves too much before or after their period, they will be in such a weakened state that their health could decline and deteriorate. All they would have had to do is ask any woman, "Are you fine?" But women weren't allowed to really give their opinions on anything. So this is the same
Oh,
society.
it probably would have run well for them. They would have been like, oh, no, I can't do any more work. Oh, I would die. Woof.
But I would love to go out and play sport. No, you can't. You will die from overexertion. I think this is also a time where they were very skeptical about women riding bicycles because sitting on that seat
It'd be too much fun.
would be too much fun with scare quotes for those who know pick up what we're putting down.
Jeez.
But women, obviously, wanted more competitive and rigorous sporting competition. They didn't just want it to be socializing and a little bit of fun. But sports clubs for women weren't explicitly allowed to exist. But over time, women made informal clubs and groups of people that enjoyed playing croquet or archery or golf or sports of that ilk that was societally and socially acceptable to participate in.
You gotta love the past. Like, they just had these random rules.
So the most popular sports by the end of the 1800s were croquet, bowls, tennis, golf, and horse riding were the most popular sports for women to participate in clubs.
What happened to showboating?
In clubs, it's hard to make a showboating club that's just for women.
True.
The sport sort of falling off. They thought everyone was a bit too narcissistic.
Bit too up themselves.
So in the upper class, some of the men's clubs, the men's golf club would have a mirrored club for the women's. So the women could all play together at golf as a same event, but not form their own club. But a club could say, no, you're not allowed. That all changed in 1972 with Title IX in America, which meant everyone has equal opportunity for things. So then all sports were available for all women to compete in competitively. But that's way in the future of our story. We're focusing on the end of the 1800s and early 1900s. Golf clubs genuinely did allow women to participate and play as long as they had a male chaperone.
I hope the golf clubs let them do it. They're inanimate objects.
That's so
Thanks,
bad.
guys.
Margaret grew to love golf very quickly. She played with her mother Mary regularly and was a really quick learner and had the perfect golf etiquette. She was shy, competitive, but wasn't boastful or wasn't prone to bragging about her ability. She also had a few advantages. She was 5'11", which was very tall for her generation and for women in general, even today. Taller than the average man, even in today.
Yeah, that's pretty tall.
She was also coached by H.G. Wigham and Charles MacDonald. Both were amateur golfers, so they gave her the opportunity to go play golf wherever she liked as they could chaperone her behavior. In Chicago, she went on to win multiple local tournaments. She even featured in a 1898 article in the Chicago Inter-Ocean that said, and I quote, "Margaret Abbot possesses a natural talent for the game. Miss Abbot plays golf with exceptional grace and looks exceedingly well on the links. Her drive is of considerable length, and on the green she is entirely at ease." Margaret played with the Chicago Golf Club in the 1997-98 golf season and came in second in the McDonald Championship and won a subscription contest on a links course. So for those non-golfers out there, a links course is not a regular golf course. It's just a natural course. There's no man-made designed tees, the whole course, that huge area of space isn't needed. You just go out into the countryside and set up the cup and start playing golf.
So it's like we're playing at school.
Yeah, pretty much like what you're playing at school. On June 2nd, 1898, the first day of the women's season, Margaret won the Deering Cup with a score of 60 strokes in 9 holes. On the same day, she won the Hamlin Playoffs with another score of 60, and the prize for that was a golden belt.
That's pretty sick.
I like to think it's one of those
Real
WWE or like UFC
That's what I-
heavyweight
that's what I was
champion
imagining.
belts, and she's walking away and the 1890s.
It'd be pretty lame if it was like a skinny little golden belt.
Yeah, something dainty.
I want like a big wrestling belt.
Solid gold golf balls engraved.
What year
into
was
it.
this again?
This was 1898.
98.
I think golf is missing wrestling style belts for the winner.
Yeah.
You got a lame jacket.
It'd be a lot more interesting if they get to go, yeah.
Maybe they should make it that each of the major tournaments you get a different article of clothing. So if you're really good, like
You're wearing everything.
you got
That's
you
fully
got your
gold.
nice hat, you got your jacket, you got your pants, you got your belt, you got your shirt from winning the 5 majors or whatever there is.
And then they call you like a full suit or something. I don't know. A suitie if you've won them all.
Maybe the flush.
They call you dressed.
Yeah, something. She finished second at a local unnamed event in Chicago, but then she won the S.H. Graves contest on June 10th, 1898, on the Wheaton course, which was her home course of the Chicago Golf Club.
Home ground advantage. She knew about that win.
Yeah.
She knew about the wind. All of these events were around Illinois. Later that year, she entered her first mixed events, where her best finish was with her coach at the Kramer contest, where she came second. So that's where you have 2 players. One has the first shot, followed by the second player, and you go through and aggregate your score.
That's an interesting way to play golf.
Yeah. I feel like I'd be like, make my partner infuriated though, because I'm terrible at golf. It'd be fun though.
For that, is it the same every time? Like someone always starts, or you can pick who drives and...
I think it's dependent on what the part of a course is. I believe if it's a par 5, you can't then take the last shot and the first shot, but on other holes you can. So
How does that work? Because then what if it's not in order? Then like it's the last shot. Like, and how do you determine when it's the last? Like you just.
what sinks the ball?
But then yeah, so you've got to do a cheese it shot right next to the hole, and add a whole extra thing on.
Or it'd be, let's say I'm really good at driving and you're really good at putting. If I finish with a putt on a par 5, then you have to drive first. But that's still preferable than missing a shot to add an extra stroke to your score, because I'm trusting that your driving is at least usable.
All right.
Later that fall in 1898, she also won a distance driving contest in a women-only tournament. It was a 4-day event that was only for women, which was atypical. Usually it was a male event and then a women's event after it. This was just a 4-day women's event.
How did they make this event go for 4 days of driving? Did they have one ball and every time they hit it, someone had to go walk and grab it and bring it back?
They did
Collect your own
skills
ball.
competitions, and driving was one of the skills on day 1. She didn't win the later whole tournament.
Right, okay.
By the late 1898 and early 1899, there were, as I just said, specific events for women only. The whole contest was just about women golfers and drew more people coming to these events. In 1889, Margaret won 2 handicapped events. For those who don't know what a handicapped event is, it's not for people who have handicaps, but handicap is a term in golf to even the playing field. So it's your score of how good you are. Every course has a par. Let's say it's 100 for the whole course. If you're a really good golfer and you score 90 there every time, you will have a handicap of -10. My handicap, for example, is 47 over. So I have to take off 47 strokes and I hit par on the courses.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I'm not very good. I'm pretty rubbish at golf.
Played enough to have a handicap though.
But a professional golfer and myself could play a course with my handicap. Their handicap would be really low and mine would be really high. But it's to make it all even. And winning those events is harder for professional golfers because your handicap is more accurate than an amateur golfer. I haven't played enough rounds of golf to have an official handicap that someone has followed me around to score, but a professional will have their handicap updated and changed pretty regularly.
I think all things considered, if you haven't played enough golf to have an official handicap, then having a really high one probably isn't going to affect much anyway.
Yeah, not at all. I could easily shoot 100 over par. Just a reminder, Margaret was a member of high society. She came from a wealthy family. Her father was a wealthy merchant, and this is why she got so into golf, because she had the financial backing to really pursue a higher society.
Free time to drive one ball, go collect it, walk all the way back, drive it again.
Well, when you started and you said that it wasn't a sport, it was just things to keep women busy, essentially, and it's all rich sort of sports. I imagine it was all just high society. The lower class, they weren't going off to play golf in their free time.
No, definitely not. But upper class American women usually went to Paris. And they had to go to Paris for...
Golf.
No.
Damn.
Wasn't there a CSGO tournament in Paris?
There actually has been one in Paris, I believe.
That wasn't in 1890 though. Was it for the Olympics?
No, it was generally to broaden your mind to the culture and the arts of Europe. And Paris was a hotbed for
That's a
culture.
hack answer. Wow. I wanted something more interesting.
So a lot of tournaments she competed in 1889 and 88. 89 was an even busier year than usual because Margaret went with her mother, Mary, to Paris. Mary was going so she could do her research and write a travel guide called A Woman's Paris, a handbook of everyday living in the French capital. So Margaret took that opportunity and went to Paris. She studied with Auguste Rodin, apparently a very famous sculptor who is credited with modern sculpture as one of the founders of it, and Edgar Degas, a French impressionist painter. Pretty well-known artists in the French scene, and Margaret was just there studying with them, learning about the French culture.
Wow.
In 1900, Mary and Margaret saw an ad in the newspaper promoting an event, the Prize of the Town Compiègne, a golf tournament. They decided to enter. This is how Mary and Margaret became 2 of the 22 women to play in the first women's golf Olympic event. The Olympics were in Paris. Margaret was in Paris. Goes to a newspaper ad, shows up to the tournament, you're in the Olympics.
Wow.
That's simple. No, like vetting of what's your handicap?
How much do you know about the modern Olympics as what they are from 1896 onward?
I mean, I do so I know this one too, actually, is like, there's some stories. It's a little bit, like a guy just sort of throws it together, doesn't he?
Yeah.
There's like this sort of businessman that kind of throws this whole Olympics together. It's hardly Olympics, like, as well. In fact, I think there's a rival competition going on at the time as well that was suspected to be more popular. But then this Olympics thing happened as well.
They were too busy showboating and they got their eye off the ball. And look at the Olympics now.
So the first Olympics was in Athens, Greece, in 1896, and it was an exclusively men's only Olympics.
Boo.
The 1900s, it was held as a sideshow to the World Fair, also being held in Paris.
Was that when they built the Eiffel Tower?
No idea.
Because I thought they built
Yeah,
the
the
Eiffel
World
Tower
Fair.
for the World Fair.
Or that might have been some different kind of World Fair. It was a World Fair.
I think it was
sorts.
before.
It
It was
makes
definitely
sense.
18 something. But it's not as cool as the giant golden ball that they built.
In the Simpsons episode.
Yeah, where it was full of wigs.
Yeah.
The Olympics weren't considered their own event at all. They were considered a demonstration of disciplines from around the world as part of the World Fair. The word Olympics wasn't used in the naming of the events. It wasn't the Olympic swimming.
See, this
or
is
the
where I
Olympic
think it came
golf.
from too. So, like, because there's like some branding controversy around this of like who's using the term and stuff.
The event Margaret and Mary joined was known as a Paris World Fair competition golf event. Margaret was unaware of the connection to the Olympics of the tournament. She thought it was just a local French tournament and a good way to spend an afternoon. She only joined the event because she was in Paris at the time. She knew how to play golf, wanted a nice outing, and coincidentally saw the ad for it in the newspaper.
And obviously had enough energy in her brain to go and play. Yeah, of course. That was the biggest hurdle of all. Just to give you some context on what the 1900 Paris Olympics were like, I know your first question is going to be, how did Australia do at the Olympics? We had 2 gold medals and 3 bronze and came 9th overall on the medal tally. I'll give you a guess of what our gold medals were in. Swimming?
Got in 1, swimming.
Wow.
Some
Even
things
back
never
then.
change.
Could you guess the event?
Freestyle?
Diving.
Technically freestyle is right. We won the 200-meter freestyle and the 200-meter obstacle swim.
Obstacle swim.
Let's not talk too much about the obstacle swim in the Olympics. That sounds like a wild story.
Other events at the Olympics were the tug of war, hot
Very
air
cool.
ballooning, kite flying
How
with
does that
3
work?
disciplines, small kites, medium kites, and large kites,
This whole Olympics is whack.
angling, as in fishing,
And showboating.
pigeon racing,
Showboating in a hot air balloon. Imagine that.
pigeon
Showboating.
racing, followed by pigeon shooting,
Is that? Do they? Oh, we're running out of time here, boys. Let's just make it one. Let's just combine the events here: pigeon racing and shooting.
Firefighting, and then was motorsport. There were 13 disciplines of motorsport, including fire truck racing, taxi racing, and electric car racing.
This is 1900?
This is 1900.
Why is it so much cooler back then?
Hang on, and how come electric cars are still so shit now if they had them at the 1990 Olympics?
I'm not sure. But for those events, the French won almost all of them, because who's flying out to an unknown event to compete? In the motorsport events, the French won every medal but 3. And one of which was the fire truck racing. We have to bring your own truck.
How did they lose that? Who's bringing their truck to Paris?
An American did.
Of course.
So the golf. The Olympics started on May 14th, 1900, and went to the end of October. October 2nd was the men's golf event, and the 3rd was the women's. The men went first and played a full 18 holes. And then the women played just 9 because they didn't have the energy in their brains to be allowed to do a full 18 holes.
That's fair enough.
The 22 women who competed, 0 were considered athletes. They were all considered socialites and given that title to the crowd that came to watch.
Was the fire truck driver considered an athlete?
I'm not sure. All the women that were there were either studying or vacationing in Paris. None of them intentionally travelled to compete in this event.
Did they say that they throw this together at the last minute? Oh, we should do some women's golf. We'll put
It kind of was like that. That like this Olympics is like not really the Olympics. That's why like people when they talk about kickstarting the Olympics, like this one's like
Women were only allowed in a few events: the swimming, the sailing, the rowing, the golf, and the archery were the only events I think the women were allowed to compete in. And just keep in mind, at this time, golf is one of the socially acceptable sports for high society people. So you go, oh, I'm upper class. Oh, a nice day out with the girls who I can relate to. Let's go play golf. Not knowing it's a competitive competition for the Olympics. The 9-hole course consisted of 9 holes, separate holes, which wasn't always the case. Sometimes you just shot from one end and then back the other way. The length of the course, shortest hole was 64 yards, and the largest was 240 yards.
64 is very short.
Very short.
240 doesn't seem particularly long either.
No, that would be a par 3 in today's.
Is this just for the women's? Is the men?
Same course, but this is 9 holes, and the front 9, these were shorter
the
holes.
men's one have some
Can't
longer ones.
Happy Gilmore drive like 300 yards?
I think 400 can't Happy do.
Yeah, so he's shooting past the hole and then
Almost
having to come
double
back.
it, yeah. Or triple it, even, for
Yeah, it
some of the
can,
small holes.
but he obviously aimed for the hole.
You're not telling Happy to take it off his swing. He doesn't work that way.
So this golf club where the course was didn't have a full 9-hole course. They had a 3-hole course, and the rest were link courses. So just over grassland or farmland, and they just go, this is the course. Margaret won with 47 strokes, beating second place by 2 strokes. Mary, Margaret's mother, came 7th with 65 strokes. They were, and still are, the first and only mother and daughter competing at the same event at the same Olympics in history.
Damn.
That's cool. But then when you say that and we think about how the Olympics were back then, do you think, is there any sport in the modern Olympics? Like modern as in 2025?
Yeah.
What sport?
Shooting,
Yeah. But
Archery,
archery, yeah.
golf maybe.
But why haven't we seen
Sailing.
it then?
Well, golf's only just come back. It's
Yeah.
been going for a
That's
while.
something that will
But
come
shooting and stuff's been there. And I mean, you could, I guess, didn't have the generational pool to keep people in the sport that long, but
What about
Yeah.
curling? That seems like a good...
yeah, that could be another one. They could, and curling, you could be on the same team, couldn't you?
Oh,
Maybe
imagine,
that won't count though, because maybe it's competitors, because they were both competing against each other.
Yeah, imagine that, you're from Australia, but you give birth in England, and so you've both curled together, but you're competing for different countries, and it's a big thing.
Wow, that would be cool.
So for this event, 8 of the 22 were Americans, and the rest were French. The Americans wiped the floor with them. Margaret was quoted a few years later saying, "All the French girls apparently misunderstood the nature of the game that day and turned up to play in high heels and tight skirts. Margaret was wearing a long-sleeve shirt and a loose, long dress, so she had more mobility."
I remember he said it was illegal
To
wear pants. So I'm still listening. I'm listening, don't worry.
Teacher, we can hear you at the back of the classroom.
So with this win,
So I remember what you said.
Carlin, don't draw on the table.
Margaret with this win became the first female Olympian gold medalist in American history. She wasn't awarded a medal, however.
A golden ball.
The belt.
Close, but no. If you didn't know, the medals only really became a tradition in the 1904 St. Louis Olympics. She was given a Saxton porcelain bowl
I think
mounted in solid gold. So, like solid gold engraving. Looks like a fruit bowl.
That's
It's a
interesting. Was
So-
that the thing that everyone got at these Olympics, or was it just golf?
Just the golf, they just found a bowl and went, "Oh, here you go." It was little square medals or a trophy or a cup in the other events, typically. She took her bowl, went back to Paris, and went on with her life. The only reference in media was the Chicago Tribune on October 7th, 1900, that referenced her win at this event. In 1901, she was still in Paris and won the French Golf Women's Championship, and then went back to the United States in 1902. She met a fellow, settled down and had 4 kids, and ended up spending most of the rest of her life in Connecticut. She gave up the game of golf competitively, although played recreationally, partly due to a knee injury she suffered when she was young, just aging up.
That's
came back to
just
bite her.
being weak. You're like, oh, I just stopped trying. I still play, but, it's just casual.
It
Not serious
also
about it.
probably had to do with the fact that having 4 children in the early 19s and becoming a homemaker full-time.
But she had the fruit bowl. Doesn't that offset some of the struggles of raising 4 kids in the early 1900s?
I'm not apt to answer that question. My guess would be no. And Margaret died on the 10th of June, 1955. She died without knowing that she won an Olympic event and won the Olympics. This story may not have been uncovered if it wasn't for one lady, Dr. Paula Welsh from the University of Florida. She specialized in Olympic history, and
That's a cool specialization.
Very niche.
Dr. Welsh spent the best part of a decade researching Margaret after she saw her name on a plaque at the US Olympic Committee headquarters in New York. She searched countless records, newspaper articles, death certificates, birth certificates, going down to one, find Margaret, and then the right Margaret. And then she sought out the family. Mid-1980s, she knocks on the door of Margaret's son, Philip Dunn. Knocks on the door and says, "Was your mother Margaret Ives Abbott?" "Oh, yes." "Did you know she was an Olympic gold medalist?" Son knew nothing about it. The only reference to Margaret's golfing in Paris that he'd heard was that women's French championship. He never knew.
But when they went inside and had a cup of tea, he offered her fruit from the fruit bowl.
I don't know what happened to the fruit bowl, I'll be completely honest. That wasn't in my research.
Look-
I didn't spend the best part of a decade researching this one, I'm afraid.
That's not entirely surprising considering that she lived the rest of her life and never knew that she had won this, and then it was decades after the fact that someone actually came looking. So that fruit bowl, I mean, it could have gone to an op shop or something and just be...
It could be out there somewhere as an antique today.
If you own a gold embroidered fruit bowl, let us know.
How do we know it's the right one? I couldn't find a single photo of this bowl or any record of it really being described more than a Saxton porcelain bowl with gold mounting.
You know those maybe it's like an anime cliche, but the things, you've got to go around the world and find these certain things to bring them and bind them together. And they make it...
Lord of the Rings.
That's not in Lord of the Rings.
Well, he's got all the rings. If you get them, don't you get all the power if you get all the rings?
What the
There's
hell are you
one
talking
ring
about?
that is more powerful than all the others.
I thought you want the other ones as well, though, don't you?
Have we watched the same movies?
Have you watched Lord of the Rings?
I mean, I know that there's the one ring, but I just figured the others were still important.
Like they're minor magical rings, but compared to the one ring, but they're not really that important.
I mean, honestly, when you think about it, the whole movie starts talking about, oh yeah, everyone's got all these other rings. Never mention it again.
Yes, it's
The
true.
book does every now and again. Like Galadriel has one of the rings.
So
Yeah, well,
do
you
they
know that
still
because
just
they
have them
show it.
around?
Well, yeah, Galadriel has the ring. I think they do have some powers, but it's not like the Dragon Balls and you got to collect them all and that'll give you all this power, or the Infinity Stones.
I feel like if it was like Skyrim and it's like the masks, the Dragon Priest masks.
What do you get after
have you
collecting
played
all of
Skyrim?
those? Yeah, I've played. I can't remember what you get from getting all of those.
You get like special like little powers, and then you get once you get all of them, you put them on like a thing, and then you get one mask, and it like combines all like the powers. Anyway, what are we talking about?
Back on track. Margaret's son Philip was quoted saying, "It's not every day that you learn your mother was an Olympic champion, 80-odd years after it happened. The champion herself had told us only that she had won the golf championship of Paris." In 1990, Margaret was inducted into the Illinois Golf Hall of Fame. And
Big stuff.
90 years after the fact of winning, and although she never knew she was a champion, and
She knew she was a champion of something.
an Olympic champion. She never
Yeah.
knew she was an Olympic champion.
She knew she was a champion deep down too.
Maybe.
That's what champions are made of.
Winners are made of. Although she didn't know, and the American people didn't know, she has posthumously.
That's as close as I'm going to get. I think that's right.
After her death, she was recognized for her golfing achievements. And being someone who then played golf, or an Olympic sport at the time where women weren't really permitted to play anything, is pretty wild. But she also holds another Olympic record for the longest Olympic record standing. Golf was removed, or women's golf was removed from the 1904 St. Louis Olympics, appeared in the 1920 Belgium Olympics, but no one entered. And then
Why
only came back.
Why wouldn't anyone enter? Imagine, if I'm working for the Olympics then,
What was
and I
the
see
year?
no one's entered, I'd
1920.
wait right until the cutoff and then enter. Doesn't matter if I shoot 100 over, I win.
What happened around 1920, James?
It's the depression, I guess.
What happened around 1920, Ben? World War I was finished.
Yeah, but you're still coming back from that.
Yeah.
And think, do I want to go overseas after all this hardship?
No, I'm saying I'm working for the Olympics.
You're the one person who shows up and they go, here's a gold medal. They're just not going to cancel the event.
Well, when it gets to that point, if I'm saying I'm working for the Olympics and it's, we're organising this event, no one signed up for it.
Well, okay.
Well,
There's a
I'll
key
sign
difference
up.
between no one signed up for it or not enough people signed up for.
I'm not sure. All I saw was that it didn't go ahead.
Okay. Because then that means, probably a few people did, but they just didn't quite have enough.
Yeah,
It kind of makes sense.
Okay.
The next time golf featured, or women's golf featured, was the 2016 Rio Olympics. So Margaret held the best score in women's golf at an Olympic level for 116 years. It's a pretty
well
long
done.
time to have an Olympic record.
Good on her.
Good on you, Margaret.
She got a bowl for it. Like,
How badly did she lose the record in the 2016 Olympics?
Well, they did more than 9 holes in the 2016 Olympics.
so from the first 9 holes, does she keep the record?
But
we don't do the math, Ben.
But it's a different course as well. You need to...
But she shot, what did you say, 47?
47.
And that's total strokes. That's not counting under par.
Just total strokes. They didn't really have par.
So
It's just
but
how long it took you.
Surely she would have still won. If they're doing 18 holes, she'd still have the record, surely.
Yeah, I think
They're
it'd
not
be pretty
shooting
good.
18 holes in under 47 strokes.
They're also not going a 64-yard hole either.
They're not playing mini golf.
But the clubs wouldn't have been as good back then.
And you think they're not on a well-manicured course. They're just out in the countryside.
Yeah.
It is a little bit of it's a record and it's a great achievement, but a little bit of a cop-out record of
It was quite a cop-out.
they didn't.
That the sport wasn't allowed, like, being played.
Yeah.
Because no one knew they could top her. She was that good.
They're like, might as well stop. Olympics event done. She won it.
She had a pretty short career playing at the highest level, though.
So did the whole sport, apparently.
Started in 1897, and then by 1902, she's done with majorly competing in tournaments.
Fall from grace. One
Right to the
day,
top.
shooting 47 at the Olympics. The next day, having to sell you golden fruit bowl.
Next
for
day,
pennies.
you're serving random reporters, fruit out of your dead mother's fruit bowl.
She was a doctor doing research. That'd be a weird thing to someone knocking on your door. Hey, your mother, I've been researching for 10 years. Is that your mother? Yeah.
And is that the fruit bowl?
Is that? Oh my God, the fruit bowl. And that's the story.
That's the story. Well, we'll have a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll see where this story ranks on our very scientific, very impressive, very, what's the word for that? Good technology? Futuristic?
Up to date.
Very good. It's a whiteboard. We've got a whiteboard.
And magnets.
And magnets, yeah. And we'll see where this ranks on our wild to mild scale. Welcome back to the wild world of sport. If you're new to the show, this is the part where we rank the story on our wild and mild scale to see where it ranks on our quest to find the wildest story of all time. Ben, you've just given us the story of Margaret Abbot. Interesting tale. All the showboating, I think Carlin and I got a bit sidetracked on.
Yeah, showboating, it's going to go on the top of our list.
Save it for another week.
We'll save, yeah, that's a future episode for sure. But let's talk about the episode. The aspects of randomly, because it was random that she participated in this event and won. Then the fact that she didn't know for all these years.
I think they're the most wild elements of the story. But when you include the context of to be at the Olympics wasn't as prestigious as it is today, she just showed up and was able to compete. She was a very talented golfer, one of the best in the US and by default one of the best in the world. Being so coincidental, I think, does downgrade it slightly on the wild scale.
Well, I think it's like you're saying, like those wild elements are that the achievements are just so crazy, but then her not knowing that it's like an Olympic event, it's sort of not crazy because she didn't even know, but at the same time, that in itself is a pretty cool fact that the first Olympic gold medalist for
America,
for golf though.
And golf, yes.
Yeah, was they didn't even realize it happened. Whether it it is wild in itself that they didn't realize, but it's because it's explainable, but it's still wild.
I feel like it's one of those stories that's a bell curve on how wild it is. The less you hear, the more wild it is, and then when you get to that middle range of all the information, the less wild it gets. But I'm sure if you read all the history of her and the doctoral study about her, it would then get really wild again. But I feel like with the information that I gathered and presented, it does fall on the lower end of that bell curve for wildness. So if I was going to put it anywhere, I would put it above the Fanatic Boost, but below Sergio Motsanang.
Well, I think there's a conversation of how do we contextualize it to 2025 now when we're recording and releasing this, that to them then it wasn't that wild for someone to just walk into the Olympics and participate without knowing that it was going on, not have a medal ceremony and get a fruit bowl. But to us now, knowing what the Olympics are, that's an insane story. That's crazy. So are we talking about, is it wild then or is it wild now?
Yeah, I feel like the jousting too is a similar sort of thought then. And I mean, it was pretty wild, that jousting story, but St. Ingolfsved. But at the same time, that's a pretty normal sport for them to see. So
yeah. I can't imagine going to your local jousting club today and signing up and going, yes, I'm doing it to the death every time.
Yeah, definitely not. So with that being said, for the context,
I think it puts it maybe closer to the Wizenator.
I would tend to agree there for sure. Above Sergio.
I can see the argument to it. I think I just put such a place on, in the context of her time, she was an upper class person who then was given the opportunity to participate in sport more freely than most people in her time, which gave her an advantage over other women that she was competing against. That then just makes me feel she was a victim of circumstance. but also benefited from that circumstance compared to others. But I'm happy if you guys agree.
She still showed some athletic prowess.
She
and
was
realistically, Sergio and whatnot, it was like, it was all a scheme. He had athletic prowess, but that wasn't particularly the most wild part of it.
Well, there was a reporter that I mentioned who said she believed that Margaret would become the best golfer in the world, best female golfer in the world.
Yeah,
So-
and we had people saying, Sergio was good, but, this is coming from the
Fire extinguisher
salesman. He's like, he's good, but he's world class.
You've convinced me. I do think that's probably a fair ranking. I think I've just boiled down too much in the weeds of what it was like in the time.
Yeah. Well, I think because thinking in the context of the jousting, it just sort of bumps it up a little bit because it's like, if we're thinking about this now, well, actually, that's pretty crazy. So, happy with Below the Wizenator. That's my final choice.
Below the Wizenator? I'm happy with that. Let's put her on the
good.
board.
Will do.
I'll give you the honours, Ben.
And I think the more that we rank these, and maybe it's because we've had so many stories recently that are falling in that it's wild, but it's not the wildest, that we're getting congested in that middle. Future episode, we're going to have to have a deep dive and re-rank because the board, I don't think it should just be a straight linear line up. I think we can branch out sideways. And there's episodes
Or
that
just start categorizing and put them in groups.
Yeah, these stories are as wild as each other. That'll be for future episodes, maybe the end of the year to round out the year.
Or even the end of the season. Maybe we'll do it in seasons.
Yeah, we're a sport podcast, end of the season. But if you disagree or you love it or you think there's a better way that we can do this,
Or even have a story that you think deserves to be talked about on the pod.
you should let us know. Where can they let us know, Carlin?
Google Plus. No, I'm just.
But what are they searching on Google Plus?
No. I just want to jump back to this. I'm thinking now. What if we have it like the league table? So then I don't know how long we're going for the season. I don't know. We'll work that out. 20? I don't know. But then you got it, and that's like the league table. So they've got like the champions, and then who's getting relegated, and then we could have a whole like bonus thing.
Oh, that's an idea. Let's bank.
They go to
enough
Champions
for a league
League if you
table.
win. then we can have them all compete.
Let's bank enough for a league table before we get to that. But I'll ask again, where can they find us, Carlin?
Wild World of Sport.
Wild World of Sport. TikTok, Instagram, Apple Podcast, Spotify.
YouTube,
Google
Facebook.
Plus.
No, not Google Plus. Not yet. Not yet. We're working on it.
It's there. There's a button on the link tree when you click it, but I can't get them to sign off on it. It's
Are we
annoying.
on X or Blue Sky?
No, we're not on either of those.
No, too many bots on that. We don't want that bot traffic.
Yeah.
We're on Truth Socials.
We're not getting political.
We're not on Truth Social.
But if you are listening to us on Apple or Spotify and you love the show, give us a 5-star rating, give us a positive review, help grow the show. If you're on YouTube, give us a like, give us a subscribe.
Hit that notification bell.
Yes, hit the bell. If you see us on our socials, give it a like, give it a follow. And thank
Give
you
it
for
a
joining us.
Tickle.
Give it a tickle.
Give it a tickle.
Maybe give it a beer after that. Be nice. Be kind.
Not on YouTube Kids. Don't give it a beer if you're on YouTube
Oh,
Kids.
yeah.
Definitely not. Thank you for joining us on the Wild World of Sport. I'm James Whybrow.
I'm James's brother Ben, no relation.
I'm Carlin No Pants Sheaves.
I think that's your best one yet.
Is it? Yes, thanks.
Yeah, it's good. Carlin, that's a great image in my head.
Yeah, skirts only over here.
I'm a firm believer.
Let the boys breathe.
That's it.
You'll hear us from the next one.
See you next week.
Mwah. Oh, what's like? Oh no, it's The Giver. You know the story like you read in high school.
Oh, yeah.
The book.
Yeah.
Isn't it a series?
I don't think
The
so.
Giver. The Getter.
But it ends on like a cliffhanger where he, spoilers for anyone that's not in high school yet and hasn't read The Giver, that at the end he leaves the utopian, in quotations, community, and he discovers another group of settlers or whatever, and they take
but,
him in, and
like,
that's where it ends.
The Matrix could have ended after the first movie, and everyone would have been happy. but it didn't. So maybe this time we should just be happy.